Okay, here's what we're doing. We're going to do a quick cash overview for each game, specifically for the Showdown slate. Yeah, give you some ideas of just real quick, like with Brooklyn at Philly. Um, Philly is favored by a lot of points here, just basically. And a rundown of the injuries real quick. If any, Joel Embiid out. Brooklyn looks completely healthy for once, so we can go with a lot of their plays. I don't see it being that far off of a stretch. I see it being a more of a closer game. So let's look at see what cash games we'll have in particular for this particular game, as I'm already on there right here using this tool. So we got Kyrie Irving. What you can do really a lot of times is just sort by value to get the best cash game options here. Remember, this is a showdown slate. It's different pricing and all that. So I made sure I did get in here Kyrie Irving because he's a lot of times, like probably happened last night as well, the highest scoring guy on the slate. I don't see him right here for whatever reason. Oh, here he is. Okay, so yeah, he's watched. I just clicked on the watch button. If you wanted to exclude, you just exclude right here the player on this tool, and then you go ahead and pick out your best six. I would say maybe seven, depending on some news and so forth. I'm not sure as of yet. I'm going to provide updates on the site in the link. It's actually a hoop ball. We can go to forums, drop down the menu, and go there at sometime mid morning to where you'll see, what will open up best. Probably put usage on there to figure out like who's coming in for Embiid, things like that. So this is a good example of this to go and roll it, move it forward. And so these are the best plays, starting with cash. So it's kind of hard to determine GPP this early in the day. Right now, also DraftKings is down, so it's kind of hard to or difficult there to see the pricing actually on the site. But this actually gives me the pricing here for the single game showdown slate ahead of time, so I can see it right here on the screen. So that's good there as well. As we move along here, we want to just hit the back button and go to the next game to get an idea of a rundown of what's going on with this next one, because that just takes a bit of time here. Next game, of course, is a Spurs Miami. These teams have not played, just a note, this year, so not since the preseason, so nothing. Because the last game it happened to be the game, it not to be that good of a showcase overall. Nobody was playing in that game to be too significant. So, anyways, moving on from Brooklyn and Philly. Right now, we're looking at San Antonio, Miami. Okay, Dinwiddie did kind of really just go out to be the best player in that game in the last meeting, though, between the two clubs. Just to note, though, but with Kyrie back, of course. And then now with this same game, of course, sorting by value, trying to get the best value. Not deciding on a captain spot at this point in time. I'm going to leave a link in the description of this video at wealthyfantasyfootball.com as I'm just organizing that here, and just so you can see, what is going to actually be a best rundown of maybe a captain and then the other spots there, the other five spots in this type of showdown. For a full slate coverage, of course, though, I'm also going to have you go over to Hoopball. You're going to do various things, really honestly to get ready for a main slate. So as I'm giving you a rundown, you can get an estimated idea maybe of and using this site as well as Sportsline if you're set up to have player projections in your subscription there. A lot of people get that and you get like the CBS All Access app along free with it. So that's just $10 a month. So you could do that maybe. And Justin Winslow is out again, so no surprise there, and none as far as the Spurs. So this is kind of tricky though. It's kind of like a tournament only because you got Aldridge and then you got Derek White, who's a lot more favorable as far as pricing compared to Patty Mills. No, I'm sorry, compared to Murray, who is really the best player as far as the point guard position. And you got Rudy Gay, you can put in there, Jimmy B, and then Bam. You want to try to get those guys. So that's kind of going to look like my cash strategy to get the two main guys from Miami in there and then look to fill them in with Aldridge and a couple guards from the Spurs to try to get all those points. So that's just kind of the way I would try try to see to do that as far as that's concerned. Maybe there's not really a favorable. Actually, the right here the opponent rank is fifth overall. So just a note there. The Miami Heat are actually good guarding the guards. So as far as another direction to go, maybe I'll see another way to go. Maybe go with another Heat guard instead of one of those Spurs guard to try to level that out. So that's how that'll look. Then moving on here to the next game, we got 4 showdowns to go for. Next is Portland versus Houston. Last time these two teams played, Westbrook was playing, and also Harden, of course, and both will play, as we'll confirm again later on today. But just to see here what's going on with that. But Harden balled out, of course. Westbrook had a good game as he was coming into his own, playing for Houston. And then the last time these teams played as well, Portland was very short-handed, had no forwards to speak of. For whatever reason, Carmelo was sitting. And then, so we need to get, though, an overview of Jonathan Isaac had a good game last time these two teams played. Overview of the game itself here. Let's see. Where's our game at? Here we go. Portland and Houston. Houston is favored by a bunch of points, of course, 8 to be exact, but the projection has it for more as going over that mark right there. So that's just the betting totals. Looking at total overall value on this particular slate game, the showdown there. Looking at Lillard, McCollum, you could join those two together, no problem with that, even on the same showdown. Whiteside, of course, Capella, definitely in play. You may want to get House, of course, Harden, or instead of House, you may want to look at Anthony if you just kind of want to bring that. I didn't see here or notice any in particular for either. Oh, yeah. Listed as doubtful out Hood, Collins, Scal, and Nurkic. So those guys had some key run in the last game, but they would not play. They have poor defense anyway. This team is looking better than it did last time they played, what should hold at least some of the other guys ancillary pieces for Houston down. So I don't really count on those guys anyway. So that's the idea of the cash games there plays. Let's move on to Orlando and the Lakers. See what we get here in this play. I know there's a lot of injuries or question marks. AD, of course, always questionable. We'll look at whether he'll play or not. We'll update you with that on my site somewhat, and then we'll also, of course, on the main base hoop ball, get you guys going there and run down. Make sure you listen to the podcast. Make sure listen to as far as what's all up to date. It's probably a late podcast recorded last night, so keep in mind the timing. No matter where you're at, what you're doing, make sure you know the time. All right, so looking at the value here in this game slate, we got some value popping, in particular for LeBron and then Vucevic. Also Fournier, Terrence Ross, Aaron Gordon. So those look like the main cash plays. Try to fit another couple pieces in there. Moving on down here to what the official, at least for now, injury occurs. It looks like it's going to be in. Okay. So to sum up to wealthyfansfootball.com, I'm going to get as many of these in there for the GPP options, and then I also put them in my my ways of going GPP in the hoopball forum. So then you got players listed as doubtful or out. It's going to be Rondo for the Lakers, Jonathan Isaac for the Magic. So last time these two teams played, Isaac was significant in the game, so we just happened to have another scenario like that where we're looking at playing some other guys to fill in for him, such as Terrence Ross, and take his usage with Fournier, Gordon, and Markel Fultz. I do like at point guard for cash in this particular showdown game. So we'll leave you with that. Make sure you keep up to date on the resources and what's going on. Make sure you're visiting the site in the description of the link of this video, wealthyfantasyfootball.com. We'll talk to you all later.